So welcome to the webinar today, and Merry Christmas, by the way. You can see we're in the festive spirit.
It's all her fault.
Yeah, I forced him. I plied him with mince pies. But, you know, we want to get a Christmas one in before we all finish and enjoy the festivities. So we're running this webinar to introduce you to reducing your carbon footprint by participating in the Clearly Net Zero Masterclass. We want to make sure you're able to ask questions and participate. So as John said, log on to Slido and you can go to the interactive sessions on there as well.
So you can get there if you use the QR code down the bottom left, or you can use the session number, actually on the slido.com website. So we might as well get started.
Yep.
Okay. So folks, yes, welcome to Clearly Net Zero. Just to tell you a little bit about ourselves, I'm John Mullen, the energy evangelist. I'm a business analyst, commercial electrician, software and telecoms engineer, owned a few IT companies, but I've got into the energy market in the last few years. And we're looking at all sorts of solutions for energy and carbon footprinting.
Yeah, and I'm Laura Short, the Queen of Green. I've been an environmental business consultant for over 15 years now. I've worked predominantly with SMEs across all sectors. And I just find that working with them, it's a lot more personal. When you save them money or you help to save their business and make it secure, it's personal. It means more to them than just a number. I've worked across the spectrum of resource management, saved lots and lots of businesses, lots of money, especially during difficult financial times. And I'm very proud of what I've been able to achieve with them and hope to share it with as many businesses as I can.
Yeah, so Laura and I have worked together for the last 4 years, and even though we've come from different points of view, we've come to realize how much we're actually going in the same direction.
Yeah, both of us realized that the whole economy and the industry was grinding forward so slowly. We were always talking about change, but it just wasn't happening fast enough.
So industry was trying so hard to find a way forward. But if you look at the papers, the media today, all that you get is chaos, confusion, arguments. Everybody's talking about moving away from dirty fuels, such as petrol, diesel, and coal. But the big corporations are built on these foundations for the last 100 years. And even now, during COP, is it 28 that we're on at the moment? Even the main host, they're arguing as to whether he's actually there for good or bad.
Yeah.
So we started to stop arguing. We decided to just get on with the job of helping clients, making clear, informed decisions.
So some of these problems we found when we were talking to clients is that quite often when you chat to your friends down the pub or in the office, other business associates, you think, oh, that's a good idea, let's do that, and you jump in. But where's the business plan? Where's the thought behind that? Have you planned and have you checked that it's the best solution for your business?
If net zero is our goal, what does that actually mean? Is it don't burn things? Is it stop using your car? It's thrown all over the place. But let's actually have a look and see what net zero is all about.
Yeah, so for the purposes of clarity, we'll just take a moment to define what carbon net zero is. John and I don't like jargon and acronyms for different things. So there's a lot of ideas thrown around about what it is. Is it the same as carbon neutral? Does it mean no carbon at all? But, you know, for clarity, that's not physically possible. Carbon net zero is when the amount of human-caused greenhouse gas emissions released into the atmosphere is balanced out by the amount of greenhouse gases removed from the atmosphere over a specified time. So when we're talking about greenhouse gases, these are measured in tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent.
So the difference between net zero and carbon neutral is that carbon neutrality means that you can actually compensate for your emissions. Typically, this is accomplished using carbon offsets, but that means somebody else is responsible for your problem.
Yeah.
Whereas net zero actually requires you to get rid of emissions through efficiency, electrification, renewables, and other means. That means you taking responsibility for your problem.
Yeah, and we prefer that option, don't we?
Definitely.
Yeah, so let's go back to these top 5 problems. Everybody seems to be responsible, well, everybody is responsible for the climate crisis, but no one is actually taking responsibility. And that might sound confusing, but how do we actually define these goals? Who is going to be responsible for taking that action? And then where do we start? You know, what are we looking for? We need to measure how much we're polluting, and that raises lots of questions in itself.
Yeah. Number 5, there's lots of free tools out there being offered, but most of them are just formatted spreadsheets. Really simplistic and really easy to mess up. But we want to know how we can use all of this data to actually create more opportunities for business. So we actually need robust tools. And if the solution doesn't make money, why actually bother?
Yeah.
So let's start off with a question from you guys. What's stopping you going green?
Yeah, so this is where you can interact with the Slido system. If you're a business owner or an employee, we want to know what's getting in the way of your business moving forward towards net zero, or a blunter question, what is stopping you from saving money? There's lots of different things people have voted on before, particularly cost, not understanding the process, not understanding the options that are out there for them. And it can be quite a difficult situation to navigate. So we've just got one vote coming in at the minute. Cash flow, that's quite a important one. But what we aim to do is provide you with solutions that free up that cash flow so that you've actually got more in terms of not disposable income, but more flexible income, so that when you're planning for your financial year ahead, you've already thought about the options that are going to make you greener, save you money, so that you've got a greater amount of flexible income to purchase other things as well and actually reinvest within that business. The boss. I love that one. Yeah, but that's a really good point, actually. It is important that any kind of management system or carbon reduction plan or whatever it is that you're doing, it has to be driven from the top down. Otherwise, it's never going to get board approval, it's never going to get financial backing, and it's not really going to go anywhere. So it does need to be onboarded by top management.
Yeah, if your boss doesn't agree with it, you might as well hit your head against a brick wall. So, yes, the reality of it all. But yes, that gives us just a little bit to work on while chatting away this morning.
And that's kind of the information that we want as well, so that we can make sure that the masterclasses are as tailored to you guys as possible.
Definitely. It has to be a solution which is for you, not for us.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Why are we here? We wanted clarity. We actually decided to throw away all of the rubbish and the freebies and started to build and look for the right tools. But we needed both you, the clients, and the industry leaders to have a look at the structure and make the statement, this is the standard we want. It needed to be easy for everyone to understand and have a strong structure which was able to stand up to some shaking.
Yeah, it also had to stretch from big business with their complex needs down to sole traders, smaller organisations, and it had to be right in terms of cost for both of those sizes of organisation. And it needed to be built for the real world, working for real clients as well.
So we started to work at some aims, and we actually wanted good, clear definitions which helped you see where you were going with a structure which made sense for you, but helping you to grow and improve your business. And the most important thing, it wasn't that the business had to be molded around the solution, it was the other way around. The tool and the information needed to be molded for your business needs.
So with that in mind, welcome to Clearly Net Zero.
Yes.
What we found was that when we actually brought people together to learn and to share their experiences, the journey to net zero wasn't quite so big and daunting. And we know that is something that some companies and clients have struggled with. We knew that our clients needed to be able to measure and make informed decisions in a step-by-step fashion, but we also had to find the best and most cost-effective business solution and analysis tools to help them prove those solutions. So we ended up with what we like to call the 3-pillar model.
Which starts off with, we wanted to work with like-minded businesses, and it needed us as a community to work together and to grow together from each other's experience. It can be hard to make decisions on your own, and it can create tension. It can actually create a vicious circle if you don't know where you're going and not knowing what is right for you. So learning together gives all of us a competitive advantage through sharing cost savings, business intelligence, even just friendship. But not every solution will work for you personally. But sharing with others means that it could be just the solution that another business needs. And because of that, there's the 3 pillars. It starts off with community, then it moves on to collaboration, and then it moves into confidence. And this is where we've completely based our masterclass for Clearly Net Zero.
Yeah, so in our own business, we started to see collaboration as we worked together. This included a time frame established for when the solutions were going to happen and not leaving it for another few years. We had a mutual frustration about the industry and the economy not moving quick enough. But now we are starting to see that organic growth, helping clients step out of that vicious circle. And we also found that we had very similar views about sustainability, about business continuity with our clients. And because we shared the same frustrations, we knew that we'd found a reliable information source that we could use then to replicate for any business. With a community that shares ideas and struggles, we can grow rapidly as we collaborate with each other.
Yeah, why remake the wheel?
Exactly.
So out of community and collaboration, we started to find confidence. Confidence, working together, creates a competitive advantage. And through this business analysis, we also saw cost saving. To have true confidence that what we have is right, we need a baseline to measure against. So to give you an example, how do we interpret and compare bills, especially across sites, different suppliers, different sizes of office and warehouse? One issue we've found with lots of clients is simply not understanding their bills. Drops through the door, they pay it. But you actually do need to question it. All providers have different formats, but the information is predominantly the same. Where are we? And it's, sometimes it's hard to interpret.
Yeah.
So there's no confidence,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But lots of business just operate on the cost, as in a bill comes in, they pay it, not on the amount of fuel which they have been using, the consumption. If we concentrate on that, then we can draw comparisons about growth in the business and development in different areas. But if we don't understand the data, we can't compare and set realistic expectations for each type of element or individual businesses.
Yeah.
But with a supportive community that collaborates together, we learn from each other. We build confidence. We have a solid foundation to step up to the next level.
Yeah, and that's so important, and it's what we want for all of our businesses to be able to actually take that next step forward. So we've already defined what net zero does or doesn't mean, but how do you actually understand the process? How do you get there with so many different starting points and so many different opinions? What we want to provide is a solution to who are your go-to and trusted sources by gathering information on who's done this before, what have they struggled with, what installers have they used, and even down to what did it cost, because let's face it, we need to know that. At the Clearly Net Zero Masterclass, we give you the opportunity to reframe that thinking and stop this scattergun approach of, oh, we'll give these things a try, and start to move forward with a structure and a purpose.
Sounds good. So, do you actually know how much energy you have used over the last year? Have you used less than last year? If you've used less, can you work out how much you've actually added to your cash flow? So, from this, we need to be able to measure energy and carbon use.
It's not always easy though. The bigger the client, the longer the timeline, the more complex the transition to be able to measure accurately. And this will always be true. But to give you an example, we have a holiday company client with over 20 holiday sites, each with a mixture of meter types. Some are manual, some are digital, some are smart, some quite frankly are out of the arc.
Yeah, you have to dig through the boxes to get to the meter.
And the spiders.
Oh, yeah. On top of that, half of the sites have over 1,000 sub-meters for holiday lodges. We personally had only one option to start with this volume of data. We had to automate the collection of the data, even just at the site level to start with. You have to do it in steps. Then we started to group together the sites according to what the business operations are. So holiday parks grouped together, the commercial shops grouped together, then the office units. This helps us to make comparisons between groups. Look, let's look at the holiday parks. Well, how do you measure a 300 lodge site with a 100 lodge site? We need to have the right way of measuring this difference and possibly allocate a correction factor that helps quantify the average age of the lodges and how well they're insulated. You need to measure apples with apples, and then different sites can start to compete with each other to reduce the level of energy usage.
Yeah, I love a league table.
Yes, yes. But this is business intelligence in action. It helps you make the right decisions for the right job. Each solution is individual, and you need to know how to assess your business.
Yeah, this is just one of the solution steps that we discuss in the masterclass, but it is a really important one to point out that we do need to measure the same things within your business.
Definitely. So, more questions.
Yeah, another chance for you to get onto Slido and tell us what you think. So some of you might not agree with all these ideas, but what this emphasises is that it has to be the right solution for the individual business. So what energy saving solutions have you already installed? Log on to Slido and let us know. It might be that some of them aren't on that screen. We've just picked a generalised selection, but give us an indication of what you've already done. Okay, so we've got some coming in now. Solar PV, yeah. More insulation, brilliant. Love that one.
Loads of
get it
insulation.
Door strips. So these are the kinds of things that I'm really passionate about, and that sounds really silly, but get your building thermally efficient before you put the sexy stuff on the roof. You know, before you start thinking about alternative heat and getting the renewables in there. Renewables are great. I am pro renewables, but make sure your building is thermally tight. Otherwise, you're just heating the outside world.
Yes.
You may as well just set fire to money.
Yes. I was at a conference centre last weekend, and it was a listed building, and it had recommendations from 2 sets of consultants. And honestly, the heat was just flowing out through single glazed panes of glass.
Yeah, and we understand the struggles with things like listed buildings, and we do work around that. I've had lots of clients in the Lake District that work out of listed buildings. There are solutions out there. Please don't think that, you know, this is just for modern office buildings. But what we want to emphasise is start with the first steps.
Yes.
And then build up.
Make it simple.
Yeah.
It has to be simple, otherwise you're missing so many opportunities.
Yeah. So to get a little bit more in depth about the actual masterclass itself, John's going to explain about the software tool that we use.
Yes, this is just a screenshot of a tool called CBN Expert. It helps us to gather data, but the big issue is that it helps to formulate the results into a standard format. Because yes, you can have your report, but if you can't compare it against something else, then you've actually got a bit of an issue. Or even more so, if you are trying to get a tender through, the other company wants to have a standardized way of measuring. So that's why this tool, at the moment, one of the output reports is a streamlined energy and carbon report. That's a specific standard, an SECR report. It helps us create these reports, but it also helps us to see, like in the middle section, the intensity metrics. How much carbon are we generating per employee? These are KPIs, or per £1,000 turnover, or against your square meterage of your office space. So all of these things help you make the right decisions. And it also helps us to focus in, say, on business travel or commuting. It's just to help you focus. There's lots more behind this, and we tailor it for your use. And that's what makes it really powerful.
Yeah, and don't forget, part of the masterclass is an actual onboarding session with John and myself to get you used to using this tool. You're not just left to enter the data by yourself and get on with it.
No.
And remember, this is building up information over time. We don't expect all the data to be found straight away and input straight away. Then hopefully your reports will actually show that ongoing progression. Not all the sources of data are easily available. Some of them are quite labour intensive to get hold of, but this is a long-term business intelligence tool for you.
Yes, and it helps you to plan forward. Simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so looking at some of the mistakes that we talked about earlier, lots of companies, and this isn't a criticism because who else do you go to? But lots of companies just follow what others are doing. They point their finger in a rough kind of direction, pull the trigger and think that's a good idea. We'll do that. We'll do solar. We'll do a biomass boiler. We'll replace all the LED lights, but who is actually taking responsibility for generating this plan and making sure that, one, it's financially viable, and two, it meets your net zero goals. It has to start with business directors. The responsibility to complete the change then needs to be allocated at every level within the organisation. The time frame can change, but the goals need to stay the same.
So if you measure the change, you can use the results to demonstrate your progress in your plan to succeed.
Yeah.
So what is your plan? How are you going to improve? Are you going to stick your finger in the air? Or are you actually going to say, this is where I want to be in 1, 2, 3 years' time? And how can you show that you've progressed towards that?
Yeah. Do your employees know the plan as well? Have these plans helped you to raise sales, raise finance, and retain employees? Because this kind of activity within your company demonstrates your commitment to improvement, and these are the kind of companies people want to work for.
Yes, but also looking at large tenders. If you're trying to win a tender and it's for a larger company like the NHS, like local government is now starting to do this, they all now require SECR data and a green business plan to win these tenders. If you can provide the data, you are much closer to winning the next project, because very few people currently know how to do this. This masterclass solution provides SECR data and a business plan to meet your tendering requirements and will help you succeed and grow. Again, let me be blunt about it. This is not a one-off tick box process. This is your ongoing, repeated process to show development and business resilience. This is now your new normal. So everybody wants more business. Do you know how to access favourable green finance and get the best score in tender applications? Without a carbon baseline and carbon footprinting, you will be failing the tender process. It doesn't matter if your contract price is really low, because without the SECR data, you have failed to satisfy the tender requirements. The aim of this masterclass is to show how well you are progressing and how your business is becoming more resilient.
And part of that process, it's something that we've actually found through clients speaking to us about what they need for a tender, is actually integrating the work that we do in the Net Zero Masterclass with ISO standards as well, to make sure that you are completely and utterly future-proofed for any tenders that come out, for any future work that you want to win, or new industries that you want to move into. Being able to tie the work that we do with the masterclass to get your carbon plan correct, and an ISO standard, which we can provide, just creates this fantastic model that you can run your business with, that's so efficient, and it's just the dream, really,
yes.
isn't it? It's making your business 100% sustainable, so that you are still in business in 10, 15, 20 years from now. Because let's face it, a sustainable business is one that is still in business.
Oh, yes. And the interesting thing is that currently there's, take for example, ISO 9001, which is procedures within your company. That helps to win tenders, but there's also 14,001, which is
the environmental management system.
Oh, yes, but that incorporates so many other things. It's not very specific. There will be, I believe in a couple of years' time, a new ISO standard which is just about carbon footprinting, especially for small business. And all that we're doing and creating for you as a business is actually helping you to get ready, and you've already got the data. You've already got the solutions, and it will be really easy to have that standard as part of your business process.
Yeah, we hope you found it useful today, learning about what we will be covering in the masterclass programme. So let's just give you a bit more detail about joining and how the programme works.
Okay, as we've mentioned throughout, the masterclass programme is designed to help businesses work together in an effective way, both in person and remotely. We feel it's important for business owners and directors to step out of the business occasionally and meet other professionals who are on the same journey. Likewise, it's important to focus on your own specific business goals. That is why the masterclass will alternate between in-person meetings and remote online sessions to give the best mix of interaction and best use of your time.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously know that the masterclass program will work. Otherwise, we wouldn't have put a guaranteed saving or your money back statement to it. But it's not enough just to take our word for it. So here's a quote from one of our clients who runs a hotel in the Lake District. Jonathan and his wife have saved thousands by following our advice and putting into place basic but realistic sustainable options. There's no solar panels or fancy biomass boilers. It's just simple, accessible solutions available on the market, but implemented in a structured way and with data to back it up. The savings that this hotel have made and the sustainable goals that they have has helped them win awards for their commitment to the environment. So that just goes to show how well it works.
Yes.
And below now on the screen are details about the masterclass, which can be found at clearlynetzero.com. All the masterclasses will be limited to 10 businesses working together. We feel that's the optimum number for interaction. And the monthly classes will allow participants to develop their individual solutions as well.
So also included is the business intelligence software subscription for the coming year. And to confirm the results in that software, the data is actually externally audited and verified to show progress each year. To make sure this is the right solution for you, we're offering an evaluation call, which you can see at the bottom of the screen. If you go on to calendly.com/clearlynetzero/join us, you will be able to book one of these evaluation calls. But they are limited to booking slots over the next 2 days, and it's first come, first served.
Yeah, we are now booked up with calls for the rest of today, but we have the calendar open for Wednesday and Thursday this week. And it's a great opportunity to ask any more questions that you might have about it, and also to make sure that it's right for you and that you're right for us, because we want to make sure that we've got the right mix of companies in the room together that are going to give each other the best forms of collaboration and build up each other's confidence. So book a slot, have a chat with us, and then go and book your masterclass place to get going in 2024.
Yes.